Good morning and welcome to the Incarceration Prevention and Reduction Task Force Legal and Justice Systems Committee, which takes place the second Tuesday of the month from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. It is January 9th, 2024 at 11:33 a.m. and I would like to call this meeting to order. We begin every meeting with the land acknowledgement statement. And so I will begin with that. Before we begin, we acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional and unceded territory of the Lummi, Nooksack, Samish, and Semiahmoo people who have cared for and tended this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We pay respect to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. Thank you. And I have to go to my other notes that I just lost. But I think we're good. So today's agenda is to discuss changes by introductions, recap, and next steps for 2024. The Legal and Justice Committee has seen quite a few changes from 23 going into 2024, and with many retirements, promotions, new hires, and shifting of the tides. I would like to welcome everyone to today's meeting and ask each individual that's here in the committees to introduce themselves and let us know what their role in the Legal and Justice Subcommittee is, so that we have an idea, because there's some people that have been invited to this meeting that might be interested in joining, that would like to know who we are, what we do, and I would like those that I have invited. Stephanie Kraft, Tracy Cruz. I think Faith from Ferndale was going to try to join us. I don't know if she will be able to speak today, but she was going to try. But if we can just go ahead with the top, and I will start with Sheriff, a former Chief of Police for Blaine, but Sheriff Tanksley, who was sworn in yesterday. If you would like to announce the changes that you have.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And I don't know if you could hear me properly because this is a new system I'm dealing with. All right, awesome. So it's a pleasure to be here as a representative with the Sheriff's Office. And it was also a pleasure to be on this committee as a representative with the city of Blaine. So the roles are different, but the intent is the same. So absolutely glad to be here. Under Sheriff Steve Harris, I was hoping that he was going to be on the call. I'm not sure if he is on the call or not, but Under Sheriff Steve Harris has 28 years with the Sheriff's Office. He spent many years as a detective, but also spent about 16 years as the president of the guild here. So has a ton of experience, and I expect to see him often. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Tank. And if Steve decides to join us, we will welcome him and ask him to tell us a little bit about himself. I'm going to go to the right of me on the screen. Perry Mowry, would you please introduce yourself?
Good morning. My name is Perry Mowry. I am part of the Health Department Division, the Response Systems Division. I'm a supervisor in that division, and my orientation is really towards behavioral health services. That's my background and area of expertise. And so how those components intersect with the judicial process, and of course that occurs in many ways. So very happy to be here, and certainly happy to offer information that I have, or go out and do the research and touch base with the folks that I'm connected to in regard to that. And so in essence, a representative of the health department in general, but certainly behavioral health concerns and challenges is my area of orientation. Thanks.
Thanks, Perry. Maya?
Hi, Maya Vano from the Public Defender's Office. I'm the Chief Deputy. I'm excited to see this task force work on the Justice Project Implementation Plan and work to promote diversion programs in Whatcom County in the coming year. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Maya. Eric Ritchie.
Hi, Eric Ritchie, Whatcom County Prosecutor. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Bruce Van Glup.
I'm Bruce Van Glupt. I'm the District Court and Probation Administrator for Whatcom County.
Thank you, Bruce. Tracy Cruz.
Good morning, everybody. Had to unmute. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for the invitation. I have been with the Plain Municipal Court for about 10 years and have just recently been appointed to Raylene's former position as the court administrator. I can't say that I'm ready to take on joining this committee, but I'm certainly happy to listen in from here on out and get all your expertise and knowledge. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Tracy. Stephanie Kraft. Stephanie, you're muted.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I'm Stephanie Kraft. I'm the new Juvenile and Superior Court Administrator and happy to be here today to find out more about this committee.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephanie. Jill Nixon, our fearless leader when it comes to taking awesome notes and making sure all of these meetings happen. I'm going to let you introduce your staff that helps us make sure these things come together.
Raylene, yes, I'm Jill Nixon. I'm a legislative coordinator for the Whatcom County Council Office and the staff facilitator for the Incarceration Prevention and Reduction Task Force and all of its committees. It looks like, Raylene, we have Deborah Hawley also. We had Faith here for a minute, but it looks like we lost her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to Deborah Hawley, and then if Faith comes back, we'll make sure we add her in.
Hi, I'm Deborah Hawley. Sorry that I'm not on video yet. And I have the consumer representative position in that I have an incarcerated loved one. I do a lot of criminal justice reform advocacy work and other things like that. Thank you for having me on the committee.
Thank you, Deborah. So a lot of these meetings are being viewed through social media and other communications that have been utilized through the Incarceration Prevention Task Force. So sometimes it's always good to get a refresher on who everybody is, even though a lot of us know who each person is. The other reason is there's a lot of changes, as I spoke before. Sheriff Elfo recently retired and Sheriff Tanksley recently got sworn in. Arlene Feld was my co-chair with the Legal and Justice Committee. She, I believe, has stepped down from this committee and is now on the Behavioral Health Committee as a citizen and a mental health representative. Judge Dave Freeman, who is on the Legal and Justice Committee, I believe he is working on some legislative items currently today, so he wasn't able to join us. Stephen Gockley. Jill, is he officially done or is he officially done in December?
He is officially done January 31st. He's just not with us today.
Okay. So Stephen Gockley has been the co-chair for the task force and a member of the Legal and Justice Committee. And as Jill said, that things are changing. Jackie Mitchell recently retired from her position, which is why we see Perry. Darlene Peterson is not with us today, but she's also a representative from the Bellingham Municipal Court as their administrator. So like I said, lots of changes. My new position, Stephanie Kraft introduced herself. She's the Superior Court Administration. I am the Superior Court Clerk in charge of the clerks. I report to the county executive and Stephanie reports to the judges. So there's that whole separation of powers. And so we are working on dividing and conquering Superior Court and making it a better place. So those are kind of the reasons why all of us are here. And Some people we would like to maybe join into the Legal and Justice Committee. There's also a sorry, I can't speak. Pretrial process work group that's a subcommittee of the Legal and Justice Systems Committee. Carol Donovan, David Graham, David Reynolds, who's now retired, Dave Freeman, Deborah Garrett, Tommy McAuliffe, which I'm sorry, I don't quite know who he is. Adam Breyer, Alan Epps, Stephen Gockley, Maya, Bruce, John Kraus, and Andrew Peterson. I know that we've been working on getting Andrew Peterson to stay with the pretrial services group. He was with AOC. He was instrumental in assisting us in coming up with a tool. And there was some work on trying to get AOC to allow us to keep him. I don't know if that's been successful or not, but I think at the next meeting in February, Stephanie might be able to introduce Alan Epps and the other new individual with pretrial services group. The probation for courts of limited jurisdiction, Bruce oversees the pretrial services that are done through that, and then Stephanie would be overseeing the pretrial services group for Whatcom County Superior Court and those individuals. So those are kind of the shifting of the tides. The Legal and Justice Systems Committee meets once a month. Every 3 months quarterly, currently, we will have a joint meeting with the Behavioral Health Subcommittee because a lot of our items overlap and there's things that we need to speak with together as a group. There are times that we end up canceling our meetings or that they end up running short, but we do try to do this every month. So what I ask from those that have been on the committees that would like more participation or interested in possibly being the next chair of this committee, please let Jill or myself know, and we'll be continuing moving forward next year. We have, I think Jill sent in the end of year report for 2023, which all of you are welcome to peruse that if you haven't reviewed that already on things that we have accomplished this last year and from years before. And then there's the Justice Project Implementation Plan, which is also an item that will be moving forward with the help of all of the members that are on that committee. So I am going to let the members of this committee speak and discuss on things that they would like to see in the future, things that they would like changed, things they do like, things that they don't like, questions that you have about the committee. I will try to answer as much as possible. We've got a lot of struggles, but I think with all of the new individuals that are coming on board, I think things are going to just improve and get better over time. Okay, it's quiet now. I'm looking for hands. Maya, no, that's my mouse. Maya has done some presentations with me in the past and is up to date on some of the problems that we've had with conflict counsel and public defender's office and the needs of having attorneys representing. So that's something that I've been challenged with as I stepped into this new position. And I know that I can say some of the courts of limited jurisdiction that I've been speaking to is finding attorneys for Whatcom County, for the courts of limited jurisdiction, for conflict cases is a challenge that we're all seeing. And we want to make sure that everybody is represented. I know Eric Ritchie has recently had some open positions. I believe they're going to be able to fill some positions if they haven't filled them. So Eric and Maya, do you have a status report maybe on staffing for the public defender's office or the prosecutor's office?
Sure, I can say we had we had 3 attorneys start yesterday. And we have 1 open position that we're still seeking applicants to fill. We haven't had any applicants. We've pretty much hired everybody who's applied, basically. We do have 1 other attorney starting in March. a senior deputy. We had someone leave the office, and so while we got 4 new attorney positions and we've hired 4 new attorneys, one of them is replacing an attorney who departed, a senior attorney who departed. So we're still short one, looking if anyone wants to spread the word. Thanks.
Thanks, Maya. Eric?
Sure. Yeah. As far as hiring goes, we're excited to say that we've hired 2 new prosecutors. We lost one recently as well due to retirement. And so we have 1 additional, and that's going to reduce our caseloads significantly. We're planning on hiring 2 more, and that's, I'm not sure we're going to do that immediately for some reasons. I think we have more applicants than we've had in a couple of years, which is pretty exciting to see. And the quality of the applicants has been really impressive too. So this is a great turn of events for us. Anyway, I'd like just to thank you all for your support and helping us get the positions that we asked for.
Thank you. So I see Judge Freeman has just joined us and Faith have joined us. Judge Freeman, I've asked everybody to introduce themselves and what their role is in the legal and justice community and changes, recaps, things that you want to see moving forward. So since you just joined us, I'm putting you on the spot. Welcome.
Thanks, Raylene. David Freeman, Whatcom County Superior Court Judge for Department 4. Our focus moving forward from the Superior Court's perspective is to streamline some of our pretrial services next year, find a course there that makes sense. We're working with new hire in pretrial services now on that, and also data collection and analysis for our risk assessment tool that was implemented about 3 years ago now.
Thank you. I know Faith told me that she was going to be popping in and popping out throughout this morning's meeting. So I see that she left us again, but we might see her pop in again. Just so you're aware that there is the Incarceration Prevention Reduction Task Force, and then there are subcommittees from that. So there's the Behavioral Health Committee, there's the Crisis Stabilization Facility Committee, Legal and Justice Systems Committee, and Information Needs and Data Exchange Committee. Caleb Erickson has been the lead for the Information and Data Exchange Committee. We're working on, I think the county is working on hiring somebody to specifically focus on getting the data for each of the subcommittees together to help us navigate what programs we've had in the past that are working, what's not working, and to be able to get that data across the boards. It is very difficult when each of the different departments have different systems that they're working with and trying to gather that data as a whole. That's been somewhat of a challenge. So working together to make that happen. Wendy Jones recently retired, so Caleb Erickson is now is it the chief deputy? Is that right, Sheriff Tanksley? His role?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we will be seeing more of him, but I'm sure with his new role as well as mine, we're finding ourselves running in different places and learning our new jobs, and it's a challenge. So please have patience. And for those of you that can think of somebody that might be a good fit for one of these committees, or if you have somebody that you want to invite so that they can learn more about the different committees, please reach out to Jill and I, and we'll try to make that happen for you. Is there anything else that anybody else wants to bring up and discuss, or that they want to see moving forward at any of the next meetings? Harry.
Thanks, Raylene. There are a couple of members that are here that have been involved in our competency restoration work group. I think that we've covered quite a bit of material and are sort of developing some ideas and so forth. And so just any help and input and information and thoughts that I can get on, that particular topic. I joined the group out of my interest in terms of behavioral health, as I had mentioned, sort of background. And then I'm not sure how it occurred, but I became sort of the facilitator of the group. And so that has caused me to get quite a bit of knowledge and information as well. So I'm really happy to be a part of that group, and also wanting to make sure that we're getting input, because there's a process of possible decisions and et cetera around how we might address the challenges that we face with competency restoration. So anyway, that's one of my areas of responsibility, and I just wanted to make reference to that. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Perry. Thank you. Sheriff Tanksley.
Yes, so I'm certainly not volunteering, but I'm curious to know if you have a co-chair now since Arlene stepped down.
At this time, I don't believe I do, but I'm open to anybody that's interested. So I think that's probably something we can bring up at the February meeting to see if there's interested parties that want to co-chair, that want to take the chair position from me. I am happy to relinquish that and give those duties aside. I believe I still need to stay on the committees pursuant to state statutes, local ordinances, codes, all of those things that I'm learning as I move forward. I'm happy to pass that along, but I'm also happy to stay on and assist as long as needed until somebody else that may want to take on that role, or even just take on half side. If you're interested, Sheriff Tanksley, by all means, welcome.
I certainly know that it's super important and worthy, but right now my plate is quite full.
Recognize and appreciate that. Any other points that people would like to look at moving forward? Or Jill, is there anything you think I missed?
Not off the top of my head. But I think if you want to, we can maybe screen share the Justice Project implementation plan.
Okay,
And just go through some of the things in there that might jog some ideas from folks, if you like.
that would be excellent. You want to put that up there and we can go through that and
Yeah, give me just one moment to pull it up.
okay, thanks. There's only 121 pages, so I don't know that we'll get through all of it in the next 30 minutes. Might be a bit much.
Okay, so here we go. Can you all see it?
Yes,
Okay, I'm just gonna scroll until somebody else stop. How's that?
that sounds great. Slow down when we're going over the people though, just so everybody knows who's involved in the, okay, next. Thank you. So as you can see with the individuals that are part of the Law and Justice Council and the implementation plan of the Whatcom County Justice Project Needs Assessment, some of these people have left the task force. We have new players throughout, and so that's definitely, there are some holes that need to be filled as we move forward. So if there's anything on this, as she's going through the table of contents that somebody wants us to touch base on, please raise your hand.
Can we talk about, sorry, I'm looking at it in two different places.
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess I'd like to talk about the oversight committee and what we know, what people know about that.
Okay.
I guess I'll scroll to that page 21, I think. When and how those meetings are going to begin, the planning, like I'm looking for some sort of like discussion about when concrete action's going to start to be taken and who's going to be involved in that.
I can
Anybody
actually
know?
talk about that a little bit.
Thanks, Jill.
There is a core planning group for the implementation project that includes Councilmember Buchanan, Tyler Schroeder, Jack Hovenier, Stephen Gockley. They'll continue on in that role beyond the end of their terms for the task force, just as citizens and a couple other folks. And right now we're trying, and I'm sitting in on those meetings and a couple other key staff. We are brainstorming on the best way to form this committee right now. And I believe our next meeting, just within our little work group, is, I want to say January 25th, maybe. But I think we're going to talk about it at the full task force meeting on January 22nd as well. And Tyler Schroeder is going to give a presentation on that. And I think there's a hope that we can come to some recommendation for the county council on how to form this oversight committee. We're not sure yet if it's going to be a whole new separate thing, if we're going to try to use the task force itself, maybe add some new members to the task force. All of those ideas are still up in the air. So if you all have some input on what you think, how you would like this group to be formed, I'm happy to take that to the planning team.
Thank you. Jill, something that is become a little bit problematic within the courts and with the Whatcom County facilities is that we are out of space. And I'm sure the executive's office already knows that. Everybody needs more space and we continue to grow. So as we're looking at this implementation project, might be worth a thought of if district court was to be centered and have a new facility out near this justice project, which is just throwing it out there outside the box, that it might be beneficial because we also are short on space for parking, space for offices, and that would give more room for citizens that need to come and file things with the courts here for trials, for jurors. There's all kinds of different things that are needed. So just food for thought as we continue to grow, if that's a possibility to incorporate that into this project, which might not be, but as we look forward to space, that's my 2 cents on that. Anybody else have questions or things that they want to bring forward on this? Otherwise, I'll have Jill continue to scroll. Jill, I have a question for you. I know this project and there was several people from the county that actually went to look at the plan from Nashville. Is there a possibility that we can share that link with those that are here today, just for those that may not have seen some of that presentation that might just be interested in that facility that some individuals actually toured and looked at, because it might be helpful for them to understand what that's referring to.
Yeah, what presentation is it that you're thinking of that you'd like to share?
I want to say that Caleb and Barry Buchanan, was it Dan Hamill? There was like a group of them that went to see the Nashville,
Yes.
and then they did a little presentation. So it might just be the presentation that was done to the task force a while back.
Okay. I'll
As
see
we're
what we
moving
can-
forward, I see there's a lot of stuff that refers back to what they did, so it just might be a good refresher for some individuals.
Sure, and you'd like me to email that information to this group?
Yes, just so that they don't have to search through all of it if it's something that they want to look at, and it might bring more discussion at the next meeting when it comes back to
Sure.
fruition.
Sure, got it. It won't be today.
Right, nope, I understand. Can you stop a second, Jill? So some of the stuff that she's going through now, there was kind of a recap at yesterday's meeting with behavioral health. And Perry did a lot of information on that, and those links are also they'll be on the county site for anybody else that wants to view that information that might not have been able to attend those meetings, that have information that they're not quite sure what that is. Those resources are out there, and please feel free to look at those when you have time. Okay, thank you.
But that may be it for the project.
Yeah, I kind of think, I mean, all of this stuff is there that I think people have questions and want to know more about it or have feedback that they want to provide. You know, people can look at that on their time as they have allowed to them so that they can give us feedback on what they think should be there or what shouldn't be there. Because we all have different insights to what works for certain areas that might be beneficial. Is there any questions or thoughts on this? Do you want Jill to continue scrolling, or do you think we should just proceed and see if there's any other business that we need to discuss? I see no hands. So a lot of the people that are here have already seen a lot of this or been involved in it. So I'm gonna let you guys go early, most likely today. I know you're really sad about it because you have nothing else to do. Oh, Bruce has his hand up.
Are we at the sort of, do you have anything else to add point? in the
Yes.
meeting? Okay, so I just wanted to let this group know that at some point this spring, our courtroom number 1, which is Judge Anderson's courtroom, is gonna undergo pretty much a complete remodel that should make the courtroom entirely ADA accessible. And so we don't have a firm start date, but it hopefully will be this spring. Her courtroom will probably be out of commission for about 90 days, it sounds like. And so we'll be looking for space somewhere. So Stephanie and Raylene will be in touch with the two of you to see if there's anything you can help us with. But anyway, at the end of it all, we should have a fully ADA compliant courtroom on the 4th floor. And then Judge Rands is also working with facilities with his courtroom to try and get some ADA improvements being made there as well. So anyway, just wanted to update everybody.
Thank you for that. And Bruce, as you brought that up, you also remind me that there are current repairs being done with the elevators. With the county, including the ones in the jail. I'm thinking if I have an email here just to kind of touch base. The facilities are going to be working on the elevators in upgrades in the main jail. So it began on December 18th. And the stairs will be accessible to the 2nd floor visitation booths. If you need ADA accessible visitation, you'll need to work with the jail staff and those providing those services. So if for some reason you're coming to the jail or you know individuals that need access, there's ongoing work to facilities currently, and Bruce and Stephanie might have more information on that I'm not sharing right now, but just wanted to let those of you know that it can cause a little bit of a headache for people, but we're trying to get things ADA accessible throughout the facilities for here in Whatcom County. Any other business? Nobody's jumping up and down, so I'm going to let Jill see if there's anybody in the audience that has something they want to add.
Yes, we do have a number of attendees today. If any of you would like to speak to the committee, please virtually raise your hand now by pressing the raise hand icon. I do have one hand raised. Jason, if you'd like to speak to the committee, go ahead.
Hi, yes, I'd just like to speak and say that we really need to focus on police accountability and healthcare worker accountability and really public servant accountability overall. We need to put practices in place that make sure these systems can't be manipulated or changed or set up so that they hurt people who can't help themselves. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate your comments, and we will take them into consideration and see what we can do to improve the systems moving forward.
If anyone else would like to speak, please virtually raise your hand now. The video for our conference room, unfortunately, is off, so I can't see if we have anyone there. So if anyone is attending in person in our conference room, please unmute and turn on the video if you like to speak to the committee. I don't have any other hands raised. Raylene, if you'd like to stay a moment after the meeting for a quick chat, I'd appreciate it.
I'd be happy to. Thank you, everybody. We're adjourned.
Bye.
Bye.